Casino SpaceX and Tesla, Elon Musk has a negative forecast for the economy in 2022. The millionaire techie foresaw the beginning of the world recession in a tweet. Musk predicts that this year will see a global financial or economic collapse. It's safe to say that the year is definitely playing up to his forecast thus far, with economies currently finding it difficult to recover. Musk, however, omitted any other details from this remark, including an explanation of his thought process. Why did the millionaire get to this conclusion? What is the consensus among specialists and financial analysts? To find out, keep watching. Is a new recession about to hit the world? Just as the world economy is starting to recover from the COVID-19 epidemic, an increasing number of dangers are casting doubt on the prognosis for the economy. Economists generally concur that a recession this year is unlikely. For good reason. Many are worried about a recession. The crisis in Ukraine, rising interest rates, and inflation are all harming the world economy. Elon said that a financial crisis was coming at the start of the year. Asked about it, he replied that it is difficult to foresee macroeconomic trends and that they would occur in the spring or summer of 2022, but not later than 2023. In line with Musk's remarks, Tara Sinclair, an economics professor at George Washington University in Washington, D.C., said in an interview with Al Jazeera that recessions are difficult to predict and that even the Federal Reserve, one of the best predictors, is unaware of one until it is too late. Musk made his forecast in 2022 shortly before a number of things started to go wrong. GDP growth is predicted to be hindered by the crisis in Ukraine, the sanctions imposed by Russia, China's zero-COVID policy, rising inflation, and interest rate hikes by the U.S. Federal Reserve. The question is whether the world economy will contract from a slowdown brought on by worsening circumstances and foolish policy choices. Musk is also not gambling much on unicorns. In agreement with Musk's position, Twitter user Christopher Mims created a list of global unicorns from a variety of areas, including AI, consumer retail, auto, and transportation. According to Mims, there are currently over 936 firms in the world that are valued at more than $1 billion. How will this chart appear in 5 years, in our opinion? If past events are any guide, not many people will make it through the upcoming recession, claims Musk. What is the consensus among professionals and financial analysts then? It's crucial to remember that certain economists never seem to get anything right. They look to their exact prediction when a recession hits, ignoring all the times they've warned of approaching disaster. Modern orthodox economists, however, are more worried. According to a Reuters poll taken between April 4 and 8:40, if economists believe that the U.S. will go through a recession this year, and that number will rise to 40 over the course of the next 24 months. Many, however, think this is a false alarm because a company that gets too paranoid could lose out on opportunities to improve its capital position by achieving strong sales and profits. The timing of the next recession is critical. However, waiting too long to enter recessionary mode might be disastrous. Relying too much on frightening but statistically illiterate articles is unwise when so much is depending on the timing of the recession. It is quite likely that no individual economist thinks the risk is higher than 50-50. If a panel of economists is asked to rate the likelihood of a recession, and the average or median response is 25, according to experts. Economist, former Treasury Secretary, and Harvard President Larry Summers predicted a deep recession, although he did not say when it would happen. Investors and economists are in agreement, according to a Bloomberg Markets Live survey, with 15 predicting a recession in 2022, 48 in 2023, 21 in 2024, and 16 in 2025 or later. An economic recession is a prolonged period of generalized economic slump characterized by a decrease in the property market, rise in unemployment, and a dip in the stock market. Recessions are typically less severe than depressions. Recessions are commonly attributed to the government's leadership, which typically includes the president, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, or the entire administration. Pent-up demand for a wide range of goods means that there are still a lot of impulses entering the American economy. This, we think, disproves the idea of a recession in 2022. On the other hand, a downturn in late 2023 or early 2024 is far more likely. Some analysts predict that the U.S. economy will definitely experience a recession, but it's not certain that it will start this year, next year, or even the year following. But recession is inevitable and businesses everywhere need to be ready. Musk appeared to start the year's depressing events when he recently expressed his pessimism about the state of the economy in 2022. There were rumors that the recession Musk was referring to may trigger a sell-off in stocks, which is exactly what happened. The American stock market was initially at an all-time high. There weren't enough new money coming into the market outside of the stock market, even though stock funds in the US are pooled in the surveys of a few big companies. And because of this, the value of other enterprises was low. Getting financing had become more difficult, and the liquidity constraint was getting worse due to the Federal Reserve's conservative monetary policies. Additionally, the U.S. inflation rate reached all-time highs. It is clear that retail outlets have raised their prices for goods during the past 6 months. The ability of the Fed to successfully end its quantitative easing monetary policy will dictate the course of the financial crisis in the coming stages. The challenge for the U.S. Federal Reserve is to reduce inflation, which is at a 4-decade high, without raising interest rates too soon and starting a recession. The majority of economists think that the central bank had only done so once before, in 1994, when Alan Greenspan, the chair at the time, managed to double the benchmark rate without impairing economic expansion. A slowdown in the greatest economy in the world, which last year saw its best expansion in decades, would have an impact on the entire world and possibly reverse progress. Bill Dudley, the former president of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, stated last month that a recession was now almost certain because the Fed had delayed tightening policy for too long. This was just 2 years after the pandemic caused the global economy to contract by 4.3%. U.S. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said that the central bank might more likely accomplish a soft landing this year after raising interest rates by a quarter point last month. How is Tesla doing with its increase in car production in Germany? Tesla seems to be proceeding cautiously. By the end of the month, Tesla intends to begin manufacturing 1,000 electric vehicles per week at Giga Berlin, rising from 5,000 to 10,000 per week by the end of 2022, according to local media. Giga Berlin started delivering cars last month at an event that CEO Elon Musk was present at. Giga Berlin used the ceremony to present its first batch of Model Is. However, indications from astute observers indicate that the plant is presently gradually increasing the production of vehicles. Tesla is currently building a dedicated battery cell production facility at the location of the former Giga factory Berlin. The development of the factory has proceeded pretty rapidly. Okay. And there's much hope that the battery facility will soon be operational. There's possible that Tesla's made in Germany model will turn out to be accurate, despite estimates that it may switch to 4,680 cells. As Shanghai seeks to lift the COVID-19 lockdown, which has kept most firms in China's economic center shuttered for 3 weeks, manufacturers, including Tesla, have started getting ready to resume operations at their plants. Tesla sent workers back to the facility to be ready for the restart. According to 2 people who spoke with the Reuters news agency regarding Tesla shares, prominent stock selector Cathie Wood of ARK Invest maintained her optimism on the company's largest holding of Tesla Incorporated on Tuesday, in spite of growing concerns about a U.S. recession and the suspension of Tesla's Shanghai operations as a result of an increase in coronavirus infections. Many find it intriguing that Wood, despite the economic rumors, is still upbeat about Tesla. She stated on a recent webinar that the ideas we discussed during COVID about using innovation to solve problems will become much more prevalent. Wood projects that Tesla will have truly exponential growth for a few years as it stretches itself to fulfill demands in these situations of extreme pressure. Wood has been positive on technology. This is in line with the recent rise in 2-year Treasury yields above those of 10-year Treasuries, which is often interpreted as a sign of an approaching recession. How do you feel? Will the recession that Musk predicted occur? Please leave a comment below.